With Christmas break just a few weeks away, we thought this would be a good time to take stock of how our Oklahoma students are faring. Are they making the grade academically? And how are their schools managing financially? Rory Taylor offers a report card on the state's first full semester of blended in-person and virtual learning.
While educators have come to expect the unexpected, one thing they did not anticipate was a significant drop in enrollment.
I talked to Choctaw-Nakoma Park, and they're down 400 students, which was big for them. And had, over the past several years, had been seeing an increase in enrollment. So that took them by surprise. Jennifer talked to the Midwest City Dell City School District, who were staffed expecting 14,000 students and 11,000 enrolled.
Catherine McNutt is a freelance writer who investigated the change for our content partners at Oklahoma Watch.
There's two things that I found talking to people. One is a large migration to virtual charter schools this year that stemmed from a number of things with the COVID. Either parents not sure if their kids were going to be in a hybrid or all virtual, or maybe they didn't want them in a classroom. So they decided they would just take care of it and know, okay, my child's going to be in a virtual school.
Another factor affecting enrollment, many parents of pre-K and kindergarten students are holding off on enrolling their children for a year. Taken together, these changes will have fiscal consequences for the state very soon.
The midterm adjustment basically is just that. It's an adjustment of state funds to the schools at the midterm, about the middle of the year. Because what happens in the state of Oklahoma is, as in most states, is students move around, or some school districts get more kids in and what they were funded for originally.
Those midterm adjustments are happening this month based on enrollment counts from October 1st.
Epic School has grown dramatically, as some of the other virtual school platforms, upward probably over 40,000 students. So you're going to see a big amount of the midterm adjustment go to those virtual schools, and therefore there's less money in the pot for most of your other schools across the state,
which could cause larger fiscal problems down the line.
The way that schools are funded in Oklahoma, first, the local tax dollars are applied. It's applied first. The state comes in and backfills. So you don't get your state funding first, you get your local funding first. And last time I looked, there's about 42 districts that have such good local tax base because of businesses and things they have. They don't need any of that state to fill in. The thing about the charters, whether they're virtual or in-person charters, they have no local tax base. So the state has to fund all of that.
This means the cost of educating a single student to the state will, on average, go up significantly. Troubling news at a time when the energy sector is hurting.
The big concern is that there's not going to be as many dollars to go around because of the big shift away from traditional brick and mortar schools.
Meanwhile, the end of the semester also brings with it exam season. Last spring, end-of-year exams were waived federally, but the current expectation is that next spring will see their return. The fall semester, though, is determined differently.
The state does not mandate semester test. Any test for your students' grades is a district policy. Districts can waive that. They can have whatever grading policy they'd like. So the end of this semester test would be up to your local school district.
Responses vary across the state. Oklahoma City public schools are still having their usual standardized testing for assessment, but their neighbors in Mustang have other plans.
We are not going to have semester tests. With this not being, it's not a typical year, and so what we felt was, particularly the high school staff, felt that that's just an unneeded pressure on students right now.
Mustang High School is also about to become unique as they host the first instance of OSDH's new in-school quarantine option.
It's a continuation of their distance learning on a school property. And so they'll have a device, they'll have the connectivity, and they'll just go through and be able to do their work in a school setting.
Oklahoma's Institute for Child Advocacy warns that keeping exposed kids together with teachers is too risky a move.
We want to see kids back in school. The problem with this program is it's quarantining kids who have been exposed to COVID in a room, and it increases the number dramatically, the percent dramatically, that they will get this.
The program is currently on an approval basis that accounts for cases in the school, space for students, and known rates of spread.
We noticed we had about 3,500 quarantines, and from those quarantines, about 1.2% actually came back positive from being quarantined in a school setting. So it certainly does not suggest that quarantining doesn't work, because it does, but the school setting would not be the source of the spread.
Rory Taylor, the Oklahoma News Report.
And on Monday, Tulsa Public Schools, the state's second largest district, announcing with great regret that all students, kindergarten through 12th grade, would return to at-home learning completely, at least through the holiday break.